how's it going, everyone? Austin here from AppSheet Training, back with another daily NoCode brief. Excited to talk about today's session, effortless app design. So an app design tutorial geared specifically for AppSheet. So today's session, we're gonna break it down into 3 components. And those components are going to be creating views, applying app formulas, and setting up user navigation. So if you're interested in learning about those 3 things, that is what we're going to be talking about on today's session, and excited for everyone here today. So I want to say hi to everyone in the chat today. How's it going, Mohammed? He's got already some questions for us. I'm excited to answer those, Mohammed. So thank you for adding those in the chat there for us, and we'll get to those as we're moving through our live stream today. But if you're new here, welcome. I'm Austin from AppSheet Training. This is the daily NoCode brief. This is where we talk about everything related to AppSheet, what it's used for, how to use it better, and just some of the lessons that we have learned along the way. And this is our YouTube channel, AppSheet Training, where we provide free training content for anyone that's interested in learning about AppSheet. And so excited to continue creating this type of content for y'all. But if you're new here, welcome. We're excited you're here, and hope you get some valuable information out of today's session. All right. So thank you, everyone, for joining. And just by way of reminder, today's session is about app design in AppSheet, and we're going to be breaking it into 3 components. Those are going to be creating views, applying format rules, and setting up user navigation. So with that, I'm glad everyone's here today, and let's jump right in. All right, awesome. Okay, so here's our live Q&A portion. How's it going, Pedro? Just welcoming everybody into the chat room. So we have 2 questions right off the bat, so let's go ahead and look at those real quick. Again, the live Q&A is open for anyone who has questions, so feel free to add your questions there, and we'll answer those live on the call today. Okay, so the first one is from Mohammed, and he asks, first, is there a way we can hide system views? Most certainly, I'll show you how to do that one. And then the second one is, I have a registration form connected to a Google Sheet, but the record won't auto-sync with AppSheet immediately. Is there any way to solve this issue? Okay, just rereading it real quick, but the record won't auto-sync with AppSheet immediately. So first question for that one is, are you wanting it to do the sync at the top without having to hit that scroll wheel? If so, I'm unsure if there's a immediate solution for that. I can dig around and look for something there, but want to see what that solution is. There is I think what you're asking is a forced sync thing instead of it having to wait. So we might be able to dive into that one. I haven't had a use case where that's been too necessary before. So I'd have to do a little bit of trial and error to figure that one out. And then, okay, without clicking the sync button. Okay, great. Cool. Yeah, so I believe there's a way to do that. Let's go ahead and hop over to AppSheet, and we'll see what we can find out. So first one is hide system views. So let me go ahead and pull up AppSheet right here, and let's look at how we can hide these system views. So this is our marketing campaign builder app. I'm going to go ahead and go over to the views, and then down here is our system views. Okay. If you want to hide these views, you can just click here, and let's see here. So I'm assuming you're wanting them not to be able to navigate to these views at all. So one view might be this campaign inline. You can simply delete the view if you don't want it to show anymore. That's one way. The other way is, let's say we're on this user table or campaign table, right? And we don't want this people to access the content planner from this view. So what I usually do is come to the detail view of this, and um, and then I'll click there. And so for the column order, I will add all the columns and then take out the related content planners. Alternatively, you can come over here to the data. This is probably the most efficient way, and just hide that one. And so now they can't navigate to the related content planners, which wouldn't be ideal for this application because that's how we want the users to navigate. But that is a way to do it. The other way is going to be for like display. You can come down here and let's see, where's a better example? Behavior form. Let's see here. Campaign inline. So yeah, I would say the best way to do that is from the views that you have set up, and then just hiding those, just so that users don't navigate to them. That's what I usually do. If I don't want users to navigate to those views, I'll just like hide them from the table standpoint, and then and not show those, or a way to get to those views. There's not really a clear path for like actually hiding the views, um, other than just deleting it altogether. So the way I do it here is I'll put, so like if I've created the view, I'll put it into a reference view, and then it takes it out of the user navigation. Perfect. All right. Sounds good, Mohammed. And then the second question was the forced sync. I believe that's going to be in settings. And then we can go to, maybe it's offline mode, performance, sync on start. We have delayed syncs and automatic. So this is probably going to get you as close to what you're looking for, but AppSheet has that feature because it has offline capabilities. And so it's not like Bubble where it's just connected always, right? And so that's the reason for the sync. And so if real time is necessary for those updates, you might want to look at some other platforms for the application that you're working on. But that's kind of like the trade-off that you get with AppSheet compared to other ones. Cool. All right. Well, I hope that answers your questions, Mohammed. And as always, if anybody else has questions, feel free to ask away. We're going to do live Q&A throughout. Okay, so let's get to the content. For this one, we're going to talk about building our data structure. We're going to talk about app design. We have built the data structure on the previous one on Monday, and then we did table configuration yesterday. So today is all about app design. All right. So what are our steps for designing our application inside of AppSheet? So I've come up with three steps that I think are the most essential and can get you far enough through building your applications. And if you check all these boxes, then your users are going to be very happy with the way your app is designed. So let's go through these. So first one is we're going to create views. After we do that, we need to apply some format rules and then set up user navigation. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with step number one with creating views. All right, so I'm going to be back in my AppSheet app, and we're going to head straight to the views section. Okay, so I get to that by clicking this little app icon here and then going to views. How's it going, Jose? All right, and so first step to creating a new view is we're going to click this add button for view, and then that's going to pop up this window right here, and then we're just going to select create new view. They do give you some suggestions here, but I always click create a new view. Okay. And so for this one, we actually need a table of tasks, because I don't think we have that one yet for this one. So I'm going to go ahead and call it the view name tasks, and then select the data, which is tasks. And then the next step is to pick your view type, and I'm going to go ahead and select table. This makes the most sense for a navigation standpoint. You can also, I do like deck view for these as well. You have to do a little bit more adjusting, which might be good for this app because I think it's primarily going to be used on mobile. And so the deck view works really well for mobile views. Okay. And then the next step is to pick your position. And in order to do that effectively, let's move this from, let's see, it's in the menu right now. I want to move it to the primary navigation right here. Okay, so we have users, tasks, campaign, and content planner. I want tasks to be last. And so it's going to move it all the way to the right. And then I'm going to go ahead and click users and hop over to the users view in my editor window here. And and then I want to make users a menu navigation, because usually you only want to see that if you're maybe an admin or something. And so we can actually create that setup, but we'll worry about that later. Okay, so back to the view that we were working on. You can add your different sorts here. So I'm just going to go ahead and select one. And so I think what would make the most sense for this is the created by. And we'd probably need like a due date column in here. That'd be helpful. But for right now, we'll just do created date time. And I think we're going to select descending so we can see the most recent ones. Okay. And then once we do that, we can also do a group by. And so this is good for the status of the task. We can see where in line or in queue the status of this specific task is. And then the group aggregate. So I always do count. Sometimes if you have values in there, it'll sum those up for you, but I usually just stick to count. It's usually the best metric for anything that you're tracking there. If I wanted it to get more advanced, I would connect this to Looker Studio. So if y'all are interested in topics a little bit outside of AppSheet that kind of go into more data visualization stuff, let me know, because I also like talking about that stuff too. Okay, but continuing on, we can select a main image. We don't need that for this one. Image shape, we don't need that. Primary header is going to be our task name. That works great. The secondary header, I actually want it to be the description. So there's nothing in there yet, but we'll fix that. And then the summary column, I would usually put the due date there. But for now, until we get that fixed, we'll just put the date time created. And I'm going to show you in the next steps like how to make this look even better, so that users actually want to use it and know how to use it. Okay. And then nested table, I usually don't use that feature. That is a really weird feature, and I'm really not sure why anybody would use it, but yeah. Okay, so we got a question from Pedro. When should I use view or view type in context? That is a great question. I've asked that very question, Pedro. Let's shed some light on that one. So for in context, if you want to call out what view you want it to show or hide in, that is when you use the view. So that's like your view name. So for example, this view's name is called task. And so if I only wanted certain things to show and hide on this specific view, I would use context quotes context quotes view, and then does not equal task. If I wanted to use the type, so these are your view types here, right? You would call out which type you don't want it to show or hide. All right. So that's a great question. When I was like wondering, I asked that same question too. So completely understand. And our director of development, y'all seen him on here before, Ben. He shed some light on that for me as well. So yeah, that's a really great question, Pedro. Hope that answers it. And then I'll also do like a little demonstration on that in here as well. Okay, so you can also do your action bar right here. So if you don't want any actions to show up, you can hide that or turn it back on. And then your actions is you can like add them there. And then if we add multiple, we can go ahead and sort them. So I'll show you with two different ones. So edit and delete. And then I believe this one you can also add like swipe features. Let's see. I think it's in behavior. Yeah. So in behavior, you can add swipe features. I usually don't use this, and it still says it's in beta, but it does work pretty well. But if that is something that you want, that's going to be under the behavior section right there. And then display is where you're going to go ahead and pick the icon that you want for this one. So for task, I usually do like a clipboard and have it kind of like a checklist or something, right? And so now we have our task there. And then if you want to change the display name, you can do so there. For those of you guys that have been building apps for a while, you start having like lots of different names and stuff like that. And you don't want to change this one or else it's going to mess up a lot of the functionality that you have elsewhere. And so you may want to do a formula or something else to kind of call this name. And then a show if. Okay, here's what I was looking for earlier. So this is where you can show or hide this column based on this view on a parameter. So I think this is Muhammad's question. If you want to show or hide a specific view, you do it with this show if constraint for the task view. There's a special note. This formula is not evaluated in the context of a row, so column values are not available. Okay, so that really comes into play for like security filters, I think is mostly what that would affect. But you can still use context view type because usually you're not going to use a column constraint there. Okay. And so I'm trying to, I'll have to come back and think of an example of when we would use the show if. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So there is that view right there. And so let's go back to our slides. So quick steps for creating views. Go to the view section. Actually, let me hop back over here. So quick steps for creating a view section, navigate to views, and then go ahead and click the add button, add the view, and then you'll name it and configure everything from there. Okay. All right. So now that we got that one set up, step number 2, or creative views, check. And we can scratch that one off our list. And now we can do format rules. All right. So back to AppSheet, we're going to start with some format rules. Let's go ahead and add our due date column for this, and we'll do some like overdue tasks and everything. And we can also add like a priorities column as well. So that way we can set priorities for certain tasks. All right. And then if y'all remember from yesterday for our table configuration, we're going to go to data, and then we'll select the table that we want to regenerate, and then click this little refresh wheel right here to regenerate that. All right, there we go. Okay, and now once that one is set, we will go ahead and head back to our views, or the app icon, and then format rules. Okay, so no format rules have been created. You can get to setting up format rules two ways: add a new format rule, or up here in this plus icon. So this will always be here. This is only here on the first one. So we'll click that button again. Same menu pops up, except it's for a new format rule. Go ahead and click that one. Okay, the format rule that I want to create is overdue task. And since it's for the task, I want to go ahead and make it for the task table. Okay, a couple things that I didn't do is make sure that our column types were set correctly. So let's just double check that. We got a date, and then we need an enum for the priority. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and do 3 statuses, which is not started, and in progress, and complete. Okay. And then for priority, now I'm going to show you guys exactly how I would set this up if I was, building this for our company. So for this one, I'm going to do high priority, medium, and low. Okay. And so AppSheet it sorts things based on like either alphabetical order or the number that you're in. And so the way I get around that, one task depending on a user profile. Great question. I can try to demo that. I don't know if I'll have enough time today, but that's a great question and a very common thing that I do with my AppSheet apps. Okay. All right. Yes. Okay, so let me go ahead and add this virtual column right here. So this is what I would normally do to add the sorting feature. And so this is going to be our status sort. And this is only going to show like on our, it shouldn't show in our form views, but everywhere else it would be okay. Okay, so the way I use this is with an ifs expression. And if you're new to expressions, this may look complicated, but you'll pick up on it pretty quickly. And it's a great way to like start learning expressions. So I'm selecting the column, which is status. And I know my first status is not started. And then instead of it displaying as not started, I want it to be 1 not started. Okay. And actually, we'll be able to hide this column altogether because it's just going to be our sort. We don't need it displayed like this. And then I'm just copying and pasting these and changing out the status. In progress and complete. Okay. And then copying these over here and complete. All right, there we go. And then changing these numbers to 2 and 3. Okay, So that's just saying if status is not started, then I want you to go here. And I'm going to add one more comma there. And then if it's in progress, then write this phrase. If it's complete, then write this one. And so now I've created the sort correctly as a virtual column, mark it as done. And so let's see in our task menu, let's go ahead and edit this record. For the status, we need to make it not started, and we'll make it low priority. Save that record, and now we can see not started is number 1. And saving the whole edits that I just made there. And then, oh, it didn't get those edits. Let me try that one more time. Not started and low priority, and go ahead and save that record. Okay, so now it's got the not started up there. And now let's add another one that is just the same type of things. And then this is going to be test 2. And we'll say that it's in progress. Okay. Low priority, save it. But now you can see the in progress one is on top. I want not started to be there. And we'll do this one more time just to show where the next one would be. So test 3, it's going to put complete right up at the top. Okay, so I want to reverse those. And the way that it's sorting them right now too is also because of the date time descending. So it's putting the most recent one up at the top, but it would sort them by that date time here as well. And so what I actually want it to sort by, you can add another one. So I'm going to put this above it is going to be the status sort. And let's make sure that it's got it saved. Okay. Let's get rid of that. So, let's see here. Let's do status sort. Okay, there we go. So now we've got the group by correctly. And so you would make it to where the group by has the status sort right there. And now your order is correct. And so it'll still show those numbers, but that's okay for this example. All right, so let's do what we were meaning to do here is those format rules, and we're going to do the overdue task, okay? And so we need to put a due date in one of these, which we got it set there. Okay, so let's do a task that is overdue. So the way you set that condition is you're going to do due date and is greater than today. And usually I get these less than and greater than values. Okay, so if the due date is greater than today, then this task is now overdue. I think. Let's see if I'm right there. And we're going to change this created date time to our due date right there. And we don't have one for this one. So let's go ahead and save this up here, and then we can edit that record. But that will help us verify if this task is overdue or not. And we're going to go ahead and change this to 21 so that it is before today, and head to the format rules. And I want the task name to be red, and I'm going to put an alert that, hey, this task is overdue. Make sure you look at it. and we'll make the text color red as well. Okay, so we'll go ahead and save that. And then I think we might have to adjust our expression. And so this needs to be facing the other way. Save that. Save our record. And there we go. So now we can see to set the format rule, you're naming what the rule is, making sure that you have the right table selected, and then putting in your conditional statement here. So if the due date is greater than or less than today, then you're going to have an overdue task. And so to fix this one, let's just go ahead and add a due date there. And then you could do this like upcoming would be yellow or something like that. And, you can get as elaborate as you want with your conditional formatting, just like you could in Google Sheets. All right. And then you'll select your column there and your icons there. You can also adjust the text formatting, so you can increase the font size or bold it there, italicize it, whatever you need to do to get someone's attention on that. Strike through would be a good one. If a task is marked as complete, you can strike through that one. All right, sweet. Okay, so there is the format rules, applying those. We check that one off our list. And last but not least, let's look at setting up user navigation. Okay, so running a little bit overtime today, but I was going on tangents today, and y'all had a lot of great questions, so let's keep it rock and rolling. Okay, so setting up user flow, we're gonna go over here to the views, and let's continue on this task one, right? If I wanted to create a flow where a user could say that I'm in progress now, and then I've completed it, that would be under actions. And the way I would set that up is coming to the task table right here, clicking on add, and create an action for this task. Okay, and I want to set the values of the columns in some row. And so I'm going to select the status row. I want it to move from a status of complete, of not started to in progress. And so I'm just going to do a simple in progress text right here to change that. And then we're going to call it in progress up at the top. And our display, I'll set it to a play button, and meaning that we're actively working on it. And so make this play button. Okay. And so if I come back to my task table, I can come here, and then for the actions, I'm going to change this to in progress. And so ideally, I would only want to see this if it's in not started. And so the constraint that you put on that one is actually going to be on the action button itself. And so you come over to your task table in progress, and under behavior, you're going to say if status, so find the status column again, if it equals not started is the only time this one should show up. Okay. And we'll say that one. And so now this really helps. This is really how you can start creating the user navigation that you want, because now you can see the play button doesn't show up on any of these. It's only showing up if the task is not started. And even if I go ahead and click here, we don't see the button there anymore either. Okay, so then I can go ahead and press play. And now I have two tasks that are in progress. And the play button went away. So naturally, the next thing in the progression would be to move it to complete. So you would do that same steps there to create the next action that you want the users to follow. So go ahead and you can just simply duplicate this column or this action right there by clicking the snowball and then selecting duplicate. And then we'll just call this complete, right? And then the status would change from in progress to complete. And this one should only show when the status equals in progress. And so we'll save that one and give it a new icon of check. And then once we save that, we can go ahead and navigate back to our task table and click the view. And then down here, we can select the complete action button. Okay, so now we can see those two now have a complete action button instead of the progress one. And so if I want to mark it as complete, I just click the check mark and now I've completed it. And so you might want to have a format rule that strikes it out and gives a green check mark to the user. That can be helpful for the interface as well. All right. And so that's how you set up some quick user navigation, some tasks, and everything like that. So hope that was helpful for you guys. Went a little overtime there, but those are the 3 steps for setting up your apps. That's pretty simple and straightforward in AppSheet. And so real quick, let's do a recap. So we learned how to create views. Remember, in AppSheet, to create a view, you're going to this app icon, clicking on views, and then adding the plus button there to create your view. And then next, we talked about applying format rules. And to apply format rules, you'll follow the same progression, the app icon, format rules, and then you're going to select the table, and you can either add the format rule from that table or add it here. And then you can go ahead and configure your format rule from there. Okay, and then finally, we did set up user navigation. And so to set up your user navigation, that's typically going to be in Actions, but there's also some user flows that you might set up in the Views section. Today, we just looked at setting up those actions and showing and hiding them based on where the user is in their workflow. And then same thing there, you can add based on the table you're on. One more important note is you can rearrange these as well. So the way you get to that is this little button here. I know that's a common thing that people miss, so I wanted to call that one out too. All right, so there's your 3 steps for app design. Really done easily and effortlessly in AppSheet. So creating views, applying format rules, and setting up user navigation. All right. So tomorrow we're going to cover automations, and then Friday, let's launch and deploy this thing. We should have it pretty well formatted from there. So today we talked about the app design tutorial for AppSheet, and then had some great live engagement from you guys. So I appreciate everyone that's joining today. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the family. I'm excited that you're here at AppSheet training. Tomorrow, let's touch base on automations. We'll do a tutorial on that for AppSheet. So glad everyone was able to join today. And then if you are interested, we are here to help you guys. If you want to take the next step, you can by scheduling a tech talk with us. I have like 9 slots available right now. So you're going to get to talk with me, discuss your use case, make an informed decision about how we can help you with your project, and then I'll help you move forward with an action plan. So if this is something that you're interested in, this is for people that we want to do business with. And so we're looking to help people that are building AppSheet apps, either if you're a CEO or you're a small business that is looking to build apps with AppSheet or business workflows and systems with AppSheet. And then if you just need to know if AppSheet's the right solution, happy to hop on a call with you guys and discuss that as well. But these are your best ways to get in contact with us. And I left that link in the description below. And so that's the best way for y'all to get in contact with us and for us to make a plan moving forward with y'all. All right, so there is that one. And again, thank you guys for joining today. glad everyone was able to get some value out of this one today. If you can like, subscribe, and share, and do all those things, that really helps our channel grow, and we can keep making content like this for you. Always a pleasure being on here every day. I'm Austin from AppSheet Training, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a great one.